In this series of videos, I'm going to be talking to you about why Einstein was wrong. And I'm not going to be presenting my own theories here. I'm not going to be pulling crackpot theories from the internet. Everything that I'm going to tell you today comes from well-established science, from peer-reviewed journal articles, from scientists working in the fields of plasma, high-energy plasma physics, electrical engineering, astronomy, and cosmology. These findings are well known. You can Google them yourselves on the internet to research them further, and I encourage you to do that. But I'm going to basically give you a point-by-point breakdown of observational evidence that falsifies Einstein's theories. These points are well known, as I stated earlier. The first point I'm going to cover here is something called frame dragging. Frame dragging refers to as a spinning body moves in orbit around the Earth in space, say a satellite. It should, according to Einstein's theories, drag space around it as it's rotating. This effect is called frame dragging. And in fact, many satellites have attempted to look for this effect of frame dragging predicted by Einstein's version of relativity. The most famous of which was a satellite called Gravity Probe B. Gravity Probe B had very sophisticated, very sensitive floating gyroscopes within it that could detect this anomalous frame dragging, supposedly. Gravity Probe B, I believe, cost nearly $1 billion of taxpayers' money to put up and fund and for the research program, the research side of it that eventually looked at the numbers. And as I said earlier, numerous satellites had attempted to look for this before Gravity Probe B, and all of them turned up null results. Gravity Probe B itself turned up a null result. When the final research was finished, when the data was accumulated from the satellite, when scientists looked at the data, the raw data showed no evidence of any frame dragging whatsoever. The scientists hashed and rehashed the data over and over and over again. They still could not find any evidence of frame dragging. And finally, what they did was they washed the data through a model to remove supposed static buildup errors from the gyroscope readings. So what the scientists said had happened was that as these gyroscopes were spinning around in space, there was static buildup in certain portions of these gyros, and this is what caused the null result. So they created a hypothetical model to remove the supposed static error from these readings, and lo and behold, they produced results of frame dragging. Well, obviously this isn't any real proof at all. The raw data still says there was no frame dragging, and because you're washing the data through a hypothetical model, the results themselves will be hypothetical. It was pretty much a huge embarrassment for NASA. I mean, we're talking $1 billion of taxpayer funding essentially wasted, showing that there is no frame dragging. No satellite has proven it, and no satellite ever will prove it, because frame dragging is simply a fallacy of physics. The next item on my agenda is something callld the LIGO. The LIGO is a laser interferometer that supposedly is out there to observe gravitational waves. It's a gravitational wave observatory. And what Einstein's relativity predicts is that you may have these black holes or pulsars out there spinning around, and because they're so dense and so massive, as they're moving around and spinning around and doing their thing, they create waves of gravity. And the purpose of the LIGO, this thing was supposed to be a gravitational wave observatory, and scientists had huge expectations for it, and this was going to bring in a new way to study the universe. It was going to be the Hubble telescope of gravitational waves. What turns out that LIGO, in all of its years of operation, has never detected a gravitational wave once. Not ever, ever. That is because gravitational waves don't exist. They're a fallacy of physics. They can't occur, and any rational person thinking about it would come to the same conclusion, that you can't bend nothing and expect nothing to impart force on something, which is what Einstein's relativity revolves around. So here we have two primary falsifying observations of Einstein's theory of relativity. These are predicted values that did not turn out the way they should have. And scientists know full well that the satellite and the LIGO failing is basically direct primary falsifying evidence of Einstein's version of relativity. We move further. I'm not done yet. We're just getting warmed up here. We have something called the CDMS project. CDMS project is supposedly a dark matter observatory. Scientists take their gravitational models of the galaxy. When they model galaxies, and when they look out at the stars and they count up how many stars they can visibly observe, and then they take that against other models of how galaxies form. It turns out that there's not enough matter in a galaxy in order for it to hold together the way it's observed in space. So they make the assumption that there must be additional matter within the galaxy in order to make it hold together the way they know it should, according to Einstein's version of relativity. And they call this matter, this missing matter of galaxies that holds galaxies together and causes them to spin around, they call this matter dark matter. The CDMS project was set up and designed to detect this dark matter according to predictions made by the theory of special and general relativity. So has the CDMS project, which cost tens of millions of dollars itself, detected any dark matter? No. So here again we have direct falsifying observational evidence of Einstein's theories of relativity. There has been no research program ever has ever detected direct observational evidence of dark matter. No research program ever has ever detected observational evidence of gravitational waves. No research program ever has ever detected direct observational evidence of frame dragging. So we have three clear failures of Einstein's theory of relativity, and these are huge. I mean, we're talking this dark matter here. Without scientists postulating that dark matter exists, if they can't prove that dark matter actually exists, then all the theories of how galaxies form and how space expands are all wrong. It's all made up. There's not one thing would be right about Einstein's version of relativity if dark matter didn't actually exist. Well, all the evidence shows that dark matter does not exist. But let's keep going here.